Okay, your next law is some examples. We're going to start all the way back here at grade 8. If you're in grade 10, I reckon you should watch it anyway. In grade 8, so you hang into this video as long as you can. It gets quite hard, but you can see what's coming in front of you. Let's start with some basics. What is the base or power? Let's just go 3 to the 5. What's the base in that question? The base is 3. The base is the number. What is the power? The power is the number, the little number at the top. Power. What is the index? The index and power are the same word. The index is 5. Factor form. What's factor form? Factor form. Let's go 3 to the power 4. Write that in factor form. That is 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. There are 4 3s. Let's do something a bit harder. 2 cubed times 3 squared times 4 to the 5. So it's 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just squeeze that in, that's a bit messy, but anyway. Index form, let's put in 3 times 3 times 4. Put that in index form, so that's going to be 3 squared times 4 cubed. Nice and easy. Calculate. 4 squared is 16, 2 cubed is 8, 16 minus 8, 8. So there's some calculates happening. Determine the following using index notation. How many 3s do you see? I see 11. That was hard. How many 5s do you see? Well, I'm going to write that as 5 to the 8 over 5 squared. There's 8 on top, 2 on the bottom. So there's 6 left over. You could also just go, what's 8 minus 2 is 6. Doesn't really matter. 3 to the power, 3 to the 4 to the power 5, a power to a power. What do we do with our powers? We multiply them. 4 5s are 20. Okay, this is still year 8. We're going to do the numbers first. Let's not do the colours. 4 3s are 12, 2 12s are 24. How many R's do you see? I see 16 of them. How many S's do you see? 2 and 12 is 14 and 4 is 18. Nice. Just do them one at a time. Still grade 8. Grade 8 and up. Don't worry, grade 8. Some grade 9s struggle with this as well, and even grade 10s. Okay, remember, that whole bracket is to the power 0, so that whole bracket goes to 0. Here it's too hard for me to go straight to the answer, so I'm going to simplify first. That bracket is just times 1, and then there's a h cubed. That whole bracket, including the 6, is to the 1, and then there's a times g squared h. So when I look at my answer, I've only got one number, and that's an 8. There's only one g, and it's on the bottom, and it's a g squared. There's 3 h's on top and 1 h on bottom. So there's 2 left over. That's got to be a B-level question in grade 8, doesn't it? Nice job. This would be an A level in grade 8 and a B level in grade 9. C level in grade 10, good on you grade 10ers. Okay, so we've got some powers. We can do this in one foul swoop if we want to, if we were in grade 9 or 10. Can you see that we've got like bases? So it's going to be 3. We're going to add our powers on the top. And because that's down the bottom, we're going to subtract it, and there's an invisible 1 there, so it's minus 1. 3. We're going to combine like terms, so it's minus 3m plus 7m is 4m, minus 5m is minus m, then I've got a 2 and a minus 1. Do I go plus 1 there? Or I might just go 1 minus m. That was a bit 3 to the 1 minus m. Now, if you didn't like me doing all of that in one foul swoop, I'm going to have to just look at the top. How about I just add these two? So it's minus 3m plus 7m, that's 4m plus 2. And on the bottom, there's a 5m plus 1. And then there you can see my bases, and it's divided by, so it's subtract 4m plus 2 minus 5m. So that bracket means that it's minus 1. What's 4m minus 5m is minus m, and 2 minus 1 is 1. Let's just check. 3 to the 1 minus m, 3 to the 1 minus m. So in the hard ones, if you're confident, if you've done so much practice, it's not funny, just go straight to the answer. But goodness me, if you just want to take your time, it'll still come out. Okay, thanks for your 8. You're out. Go and watch some Netflix. Grade 9, this is for you and up. So this should be B-level question for you grade 9ers. So one thing at a time. 3. Let's do that bottom thing. So m squared to the 5 is m to the 10, n to the 5. Everything in that bracket is squared. So 2 squared is 4. M to the cubed squared is going to multiply on n. Let's take our time here. Our n's cancel. There's a 3 and a 5. There's 1m on top and 10 on bottom. So that means there's 9. There's still those 6 m's over there. Nothing really cancels, so I've got a 3 and a 4. So that's a 12 on the top and a 5 on the bottom. You can see that there's 6 m's on top and 3 m's on the bottom, so it's going to be an m cubed on the bottom and also an n on the bottom. Looks a little bit nasty, but there's your answer. Still grade 9. Okay, we've got some negatives in there as well. I'm sure you're looking forward to that. I think my first step will be to get rid of those negatives. It's going to be e squared. That f is going to stay there. That f is going to go down the bottom. And that e is going to go to the top. I'll lift that one out. That one goes to the bottom. Let's get rid of that power to a power. So everything in that bracket is raised to the power 3. A power to a power, we multiply e to the 6, e to the 15, f to the 12, f to the 3. And yes, I could have combined them first. It doesn't matter. How many e's have we got? So there's e's, there's 21 on the top, there's 15 f's, there's still a 4 and a 3, e to the 9, and I guess there's only an f2 on the bottom there. Slowly coming together. There's still a 4 and a 3. Let's look at the e's. So that's going to be Oh, it's on the top, isn't it? 21 minus 9. 12. And there are going to be 17 F's on the bottom. You can see up here, I could have gone e to the 7 on f to the 5 cubed, and I still would have got, what am I saying? That's an e to the 7, which is still e to the 21 on f to the 15. It doesn't really matter what you do so long as it's valid. It doesn't matter which order you do it. Oh my gosh, loving it. Bit of a long video, but you've got to get to see some of these questions come out and how easy they are if you just do them one step at a time. So I'm going to need more than this one page. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of that. C7, D8, D5. What's 8 and 5? 13. And then there's that is multiplied by the reciprocal. Okay, that was really important to get that to a multiply by sign. C7D. Right, now I would get rid of the negatives. That whole bracket is to the -1, so I'm going to put it up the top. That D is going to stay there. These other two need to go down the bottom. And yes, we can do these in different orders, it doesn't really matter. The 8 and the 4 goes. That C is going to go to the bottom. That C is going to stay there. And these two D's will go together. And you can see that vinculum just goes all the way through there now, doesn't it? So let's tidy this up. There's a 2. How many D's are on top? There are 19. There are 4 C's on the bottom and 7 C's on the top. Come on. So, C to the 3. So everything's in that numerator. Isn't that nice? So it actually simplifies down quite well, doesn't it? That is really nasty, but that and that are the same value, nice and simple. So that's it for you grade 9s. That was nice, that's a hard B-level question. Okay, year 10. Looks nice and easy, doesn't it? Looks easier than the last one. Probably is, to be honest. Okay, let's go. So that 4 is the power of quarter. And that square root is a half. A power to a power, we're going to multiply. And everything in that bracket is to the half. You can clearly see that that 4 on 4 is just the number 1, and that 6 on 4 is 3 on 2. So let's just do that running thing while we're in there. So we are adding multiplying like bases, so we add the powers. So 3 on 2 plus 1 on 2 is 4 on 2, that's x squared, and that's y to the 1 multiplied by y to the half. So that's y to the 1.5. 3 on 2. By its nature, when we simplify, we don't want fractional powers. The textbook will leave lots of fractional powers in your answers, but when it's nice and simple like this, we would want that to be left like that. Particularly given that the question was given to you in radical form, you want your answer to be in radical form. Oh, dog. I think this is the last one. Okay. Let's hope it is. This has been a long video. It's killing me. The first thing you're going to say here is this is going to take me a long time, so I've got to be careful. So we don't want to do too much at once, but for me to fit it in, I probably will. Okay. And we've got a bracket. So I'm going to leave the c squared on the top. Try and keep it clean for you. That d will go down the bottom. That c to the 2/3. That d to the 11 on 3. And I've got this thing left. This negative will put that whole thing to the top. 9e squared squared. I still think I want to leave that quarter out there and tidy this thing up a little bit. So let's do this thing here. So it's 9 squared, which is 81. E squared squared is e to the 4. C squared d. There's a d on the bottom and a d to the 2/3. Whew. Love our fractions. Do you like that? Or do we want to tidy that up? I guess we can. So the 81's on top. The E is staying there. And oh my gosh, that's not a 2, that's a C. So 2 minus 2/3 has got to be 1 1/3, which is C to the 4 on 3. And 11/3 minus 1, well 1 is 3/3. 11 minus 3 is 8/3. And everything's to the quarter. So what number multiplied by itself 4 times is 8? 3 3s are 9, 3 9s are 27, 3 27s are 81. So that's 3. That multiplied by a quarter is going to be 8/3 times a quarter is going to be and 4 times a quarter is just 1. 8/12 is 4/6, which is 2/3. So let's just tidy that up. That should be 2/3. We are so close. Can you see how that was given to us with a radical? So we really want to get rid of those things there. So let's go 3. The E is just there. And both of the C and the D are cubic roots. C to the power 1, D squared, and clearly that 1 doesn't need to be there. That is super duper. That would be a good, healthy B level question for you, grade 10. Sorry that was a long video, but it's important for you to see a full spread of example questions. Go have fun with your practice.